Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and before we vote, I want to remind everyone that the procedures have changed and we have to have a roll call vote for every vote. So Lisa will be doing a roll call vote. So Lisa, will you please call for the vote?
How fun is that?
For every vote.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Aye.
Aye.
Great, motion passes. So we have approved the agenda with the removal of 6D and E. We will now move on to call to the public, and we have 3 cards, so exciting. First, to speak about the Relay for Life, we have Mary and Evan Grace. Please come forward.
Those purple shoes.
Yeah, it works better if you hold it up.
Good evening. My name is Evan Grace, and this is my mom, Mary Grace. And we are here to talk about Relay for Life and getting schools and organizations involved in the event this year. So my mom's actually going to talk about how you do that.
Relay for Life has changed. This year it was in April. It's now pushed back to November, so there's still time for the schools to participate and sign up. The way that you can sign up and participate is you can join a team. You can start your own team from each school. We would really love to have each school have a team. You can sign up to have volunteers from your schools or your staff, or you can even support a participant. When you participate in Relay, it gives you a chance to give back. Many staff and students know someone whose life has been touched by cancer. This gives them a way to honor their loved ones, remember those we've lost, celebrate the survivors, and to be part of the journey. We have a local community leader who has stepped up and said how the American Cancer Society has helped her in her battle. They've provided a wig, they've even helped her with facial cosmetic, just feeling good all around. So American Cancer Society does help in our community, and we would want to continue that.
If you want more information on the event, you can look up Relay for Life of Maricopa on Facebook. You can go to relayforlife.org/MaricopaAZ. The theme this year is Disney. It is November 3rd at Copper Sky, and it is from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
For those that do not know about Relay, it kicks off with a survivor lap, which is very heartwarming to see, and then the various laps are themed throughout the event. And then there's a Luminaria event in the evening, and Evan has provided each of you with the Luminaria for you to decorate and bring to the event too, so you can honor a loved one of yours if you like. And he's also provided you with, I think, scarves for the ladies and buttons for everybody and football for the gentlemen. And for those of you who do not know, and probably don't want me to say this, Evan has traditionally done a bra lap every year. This is Evan's last participation this year because he's hopefully going off to college. So the bra lap is a big deal. He walks to honor a breast cancer survivor who's a dear friend. And in MUSD, he's been doing this since 8th grade. He's had Mr. Abel, Mr. Jump, Mr. Saltisic, and a very lovely Mr. Judd join him as well. Although I'm not going to name any names, Joshua Judd. Last year it had a black bra over a black t-shirt. It was kind of big. We all knew what you had on, Mr. So yes, Evan would like to see more men from the district. This is his last time, so we need more teachers, more students, more staff to join him with bras over your shirts. The time will be given, and we'll relay that to you guys. But yes, we brought a black shirt. I'll bring zebra print next time. Thank you.
And don't leave, Mary, because next up we have Mary Grace to talk about kudos. Can't wait to hear about it.
Yes, I have to give kudos. It's the beginning of the year, and as a mom to 2 current students, I have a senior and a freshman at the high school. I just want to give kudos and say it's been a very good start to the year. My freshman was a very, very nervous freshman. It's a big jump transitioning from the blended learning program to the high school. Even though this is our 3rd one, we knew he would survive. He didn't know he would survive. So kudos to the Link crew for making that transition a piece of cake for him. His nerves went out the door. He's got girls hounding him about his eyes now. so he's doing very well. Thank you very much. Evan and I went to attend the Coffee with Chief Stahl the other day about safety, and we just want to give kudos to not only to the Maricopa Police Department, but to Officer Evans. We need him, and I'm glad that we are keeping him at MHS. He's the eyes and ears of MHS. And he's there. He's a mentor. He's a jokester. He's a coach. He's a father figure to so many. As a mom, I'm confident that our kids are in good hands when he's there. So thank you for keeping him there. Gifted advisory. I don't know if you guys know, but Gifted Advisory is doing something different for the gifted students. They are presenting them with a journal that's kind of self-reflective and gives them a look at who they are and why they think that they do. My oldest was a gifted student, and by the time he graduated in 2016, the gifted program had been cut. So those students forgot why they were gifted or that they were gifted. Now that this gifted advisory is in place, I can see these students not forgetting that they're gifted or why that, it's okay to think differently. And this journal that they're provided, even though it's 15 minutes a day, it means a lot to them. And as a mom, I appreciate that. So I hope to see the continuation of the gifted committee kick up again this year. I know that our district's going to do great things again with gifted. And I think that's it. Yeah. Kudos all the way around. Thank you for kicking off the year in a great way. The political candidate forum. I went to that as well, and I have to say it was awesome to see education on the minds of so many. Not only do we have teachers from our district as candidates, we have teachers applying pressure to these candidates and keeping them, feet to the fire, and they're making them be held accountable, and it's awesome to see our teachers in the forefront and keeping the ball rolling, so that was very good to see. So kudos all the way around. Thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you, Mary, and you can come give reports like that every board meeting if you'd like. Our final call of the public is Yasmin Havania? What? Hanania with Maricopa High School DECA. Please come forward. And take the mic out and hold it so that the people watching on TV can hear you.
I just first wanted to start off by thanking you guys for supporting DECA and Maricopa High School. I'm Yasmin Hanania. I'm the VP of Marketing for the Maricopa High School DECA Club.
And I'm Jimmy Kataya. I'm the state officer for Arizona DECA.
And we're basically here to talk to you guys about how DECA has helped us and gave us all these wonderful opportunities. So first we wanted to start off by talking about all the conferences that DECA has. And even though we have a lot of conferences and all these options, they all are very different and unique in their own way. All these conferences have different people, they have different purposes, and they all give us new knowledge and new skills. One of the major things that they help us with is they help us gain leadership skills. They put us in team bonding exercises and all these social places that help us gain social skills, interpersonal skills, and all these things that we need for the future. They also help us connect with businesses and corporations and anything like that will also help us with our future careers. A lot of people come into DECA and they're very shy and they're not very confident, but then at the end of DECA, they are more confident with themselves, and that's because they're put in all these situations where they get to improve on all the skills that they have. And that's why a lot of people join DECA is because they want to be heard and they want to feel important. So that's why it's very important.
So when people ask me what is DECA, sometimes I joke around and I say, it's everything you need to succeed in life. And I may be joking, but I'm definitely not lying when I say that. DECA teaches you interpersonal skills, it teaches you to think on your feet, and gives you good group dynamics and how to lead groups. So some of our conferences, we only do workshops at the conferences before competition, and as a state officer, I personally have a hand in developing the program of work, where I decide what's going on in the conferences, what's going on in the workshops, and I also present some workshops. So I know what we're teaching, and that it's going to be beneficial to our students here in Arizona.
So that's basically all we wanted to talk about. We want to thank you guys again for letting us come up here and speak to you guys about DECA and how it's important to us.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Great.
Thank you. Oh, this is also our advisor, sponsor, Mr. Rodriguez. He's the marketing teacher, and he comes with us on all of our trips, and he teaches us, all the important things we need.
Yeah, he's actually a previous state officer for Arizona DECA. In what year? Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Really appreciate that. Great. That concludes our call to the public. We will now move on to item 3, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Lopman.
Thank you very much. I first want to echo the reports that we've had from our guest speakers. It has been a very successful, smooth start to the school year, and that's on all 9 campuses. Our emphasis on customer service has translated to some changes in procedures, and I think it has also helped with those transitions between elementary school to junior high to high school. So I really have to credit our principals and our office staffs and our teachers for paving that way for a good start. I also want to compliment our 3 student speakers tonight. I've been in classrooms over the past couple weeks and keep running into great kids like you. The 3 of you are outstanding speakers and outstanding representatives of your classes, of your clubs, and certainly of our entire district. So I really appreciate the demonstration of the skills that our teachers are instilling in you. It is inspiring. Also, before we go any further, it's Dr. Miller's birthday. Uh-oh. So he's 29 today, and we want to wish him from the bottom of our hearts a very happy birthday. Very happy.
Happy birthday.
As an elected official, this is your birthday night, and here you are at a board meeting with us. That just shows the commitment that you have to our district and the kids here in Maricopa Unified. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your selfless presence here on our board. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Onward with some of the other events that have been going on. We've had, regarding safety, service, and success, 3 important outcomes always in our district. We've had school-level training on our drills and our procedures regarding emergency response and just general safety around campuses. We've had some unexpected situations where we've actually gotten to practice some of our emergency responses as well. We have been involved, obviously prior to the start of the school year, we had new teacher and old teacher orientation and training, things that included the ELA training, thinking maps, Kagan training, lots of mentoring support between our new teachers and some established, experienced teacher mentors. And everything that we hear from our new teachers is that that was well received, greatly valued, and really paid off. We also, I want to mention the candidate forum because that was a collaboration between InMaricopa.com and our student leadership at the high school. Our students not only monitored and moderated from the social media feed, they also served as ambassadors and to all the candidates. I got to speak with the candidates, and every single one of them complimented our students, again, for being outstanding representatives of our district, and certainly, I will say it every chance I get, outstanding representatives of the future. And so everyone is relieved about where our future will be, certainly walking the halls of our schools. Finally, regarding service, we are developing our leadership working on leadership development initiatives here for our principals and our district office leaders. We met yesterday as a group and started to craft exactly what it would take, what we need to learn, develop, and practice to be the best leaders for our students. And then finally, we had our back-to-school celebration at Maricopa High School on the 20th. I know this is out of order, but it's categorized by safety, service, and success. But on the 20th, we had our back-to-school celebration, and there we were able to invite the thoughts and anticipation of the Maricopa why, the Maricopa how, and the Maricopa what in anticipation of the launch of our strategic plan on the 29th of this month. So we've been busy. I would like to now progress to the superintendent's 30-day report. A few months ago, I promised you a report about that would capture the essence of, really, it was supposed to be the first 30 days, but it's actually been the first 4 months. And all of these details align with safety, service, and success as well. So what I did was set out to learn about these topics by talking to different people, actually by listening to different people. So I've talked with governing board members, district leaders, principals, and community members. Some of these were actual formal conversations, formal sit-down, couple hours, taking really copious notes. Students would have been impressed. And then some of it is just informal. Every person that I encounter has a relationship with our school district. And in those settings, common themes emerged as well. And so I did my best to capture those things as well. So I look forward to sharing with you the results. We call this, and actually coming up I'll be talking more to teachers, classified staff, students, and parents, because we're not done. I obviously have a lot more people to talk to. We started off by identifying what made people proud, what made people excited about Maricopa Unified School District. And these are the things that emerged. I heard about the rich history of Maricopa, the local pride, the relationships, and so many accomplishments at the elementary, middle school, and high school level. Lots of great outcomes that come from those great relationships that we enjoy. So in addition to watching people gush about the Maricopa Unified School District, I had 4 questions for every single formal meeting. And these were the 4 questions that would allow me to learn about challenges, necessary improvements, some issues, and of course, the formal invitation for advice for me in my new role. It's kind of like my own remote in my home. It's finicky. So, these are the top 3 challenges. You can see that, oh, now I've messed it up really bad. I don't know what to do.
Oh, there you're back.
Okay, good. Learning, you can see here, keeping up with growth, teacher retention, those were the most frequent answers. And then you can see there's a variety of additional responses. But growth and teacher retention emerged as the most frequent responses when asked what are the top 3 challenges in the next 5 to 10 years. Give you a second to kind of peruse those. I don't think there's any surprises there. And then the second question, one thing we must improve in order to provide a first-class education, common themes, and you can see that some of them overlap very easily. Like systems thinking and decision-making processes. And then there's also very divergent concepts like funding and school culture. So that's what our different stakeholder groups say about necessary improvements. And then issues, if dealt with, we could improve the effectiveness of MUSD. I'm an advocate of mentioning the elephant in the room whenever there are elephants. And this is what I wanted to surface here, and I think we did. Communication came up in a variety of ways, literally and sort of implied. But you can also notice the specific nature of these responses. I really appreciate people's candor with me and willingness to help. The final question, one piece of advice for me in my new role as superintendent, I got a very wonderful range of suggestions. Some of them I've already applied, and I can guarantee you these will be taken to heart. Again, I appreciate our respondents' candor with me and their willingness to help. Of course, you know that I'm going to take these same questions to teachers, to students, and to parents, and then again and again and again in different settings to community members. So I take a pencil and a notepad with me wherever I go, and I know that everything that is offered to me is offered along with a celebration and wonderful pride in our school district, and then a desire for all of us, especially our students, to be the best that they can be. So going forward, I intend to listen and learn more with environmental scans. And again, an environmental scan is one of those kind of hipster terms for, it's really just our current reality. So I'll be learning more about and listening more about our current reality by talking with schools, departments, parents, students, and community members, and formally and informally, and also the superintendent's advisory councils will be launched as well, and lots of other avenues for information. And then I will have a 100-day report for you as well. So subject to your questions, that concludes my 30-day report.
Thank you. And I don't think we can ask questions.
Okay.
But that was amazing.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll end on
Thank
that.
you. And if you have any questions for Dr. Lopman about that wonderful
You
presentation,
can call me. I
call
tend to
her,
leave my
email
phone
her.
number.
Yes. Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm really excited about the future and excited to have you on board. So,
Thank you.
moving on to our governing board member reports. Item 4, since it's his birthday, I'm going to let Dr. Miller start.
I thought I'd go last.
No, you're first. It's your birthday.
Okay, well, first I want to thank everybody for the board for saying, happy birthday, and for the Dunkin' Donuts and the cupcakes. And so my kids are definitely going to love you when I get home. So. Yes, so I understand that today was the last day for filing for the school board position. I'm not running in November. So right now I'm transitioning out, so I'm going to, between now and November, visit all the schools. Monday I went to Maricopa Wells and visited with Mr. Miller and had another walkthrough on the campus and was able to meet some of the new teachers, which was really great, and some of the returning teachers, and they weren't expecting me, so that's why I really like to go in the classrooms and see the students engaged and the teachers engaged, and when they're not school board members come in, so it's kind of really catching them, I guess, in the moment. So, but I can definitely say that doing the walkthroughs, that a lot of the students are well engaged and went through the 21 plus program, it was nice to see, as we're building those relationships, you know, with the students and teachers, and a lot of that familiarity, and the students coming up, and my son, and so this year he was ready, and he wasn't so embarrassed, so that was nice. And so that was good. Last night, board member Coutre and I, we attended a meeting with the Be Awesome Coalition. They had a parent education event at Ultrastar, and so the students were able to bowl and play games, and while the Be Awesome Coalition presented on prescription misuse, and I think they do a really great job. There were some numbers that was kind of staggering, especially from Pinal County. I think one of the numbers I thought was eye-opening is that more than 50% in Pinal County parents do not have a conversation with their students, and you know, those conversations at times can be hard, but it's very important. Talking about the elephant in the room, those are definitely conversations that we need to have. Another stat that I thought was very alarming was that 1 in 10 students in 8th grade have misused prescription medication within the last 30 days, and I believe sophomores was 1 out of 7, and seniors was 1 out of 8. So I was really surprised for the 8th graders, 1 out of 10. And also, I believe the Maricopa statistic for the misuse within 30 days was lower than Pinal County. So I think that shows that there's some good prevention intervention work going on here, and very thankful for the Be Awesome Coalition and the students that are involved in that. So great work. And for that, I'll yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Mrs. Anderson?
Seems like forever since I've seen everybody. Hello. I'm ready for this summer to almost be over with. Another little bit, but I've missed you, so it's good to see you all. I just wanted to report, last time I saw you, which was on July 11th, I was getting ready to do the new teacher bus tour. And I want to say what a pleasure it was. It was so much fun. Because we toured the entire school district. So it was eye-opening for them to see really how many square miles our students are on the buses, and that, you know, first hour at high school is a very quiet first hour, since they have to be there at 7:20, and some of these kids have to leave their houses before 6 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, it was a little eye-opener for some of them, but it was very exciting, and I was very encouraged by the new teachers that we've hired. So nice job, HR. They were all excited. Several of them were looking for homes to move here, so it was nice to be able to share kind of the history of where Maricopa was, you know, 40-plus years ago. That's all I'm going to say. So that was fun, and I just want to thank, you know, definitely the curriculum department and those that organized the new teacher orientations. I think that it was a nice piece, because a lot of our current teachers don't even know how big our school district is. And a lot of them were surprised that there's still dirt roads. And I'm like, yeah, there's still dirt roads. So that was exciting, so I wanted to report on that. I also wanted to say that I thought that this year our back-to-school pep assembly was phenomenal. I think it is the best one we've ever had. Staff was encouraged, and even though we were starting school early, everybody was excited. And if they really weren't excited, at least they were faking it really well. But I just, you know, Dr. Lotman and the district office, everyone that organized it, I think that they did a phenomenal job. The band was playing. They just kind of had everybody participating, and it really felt like a team spirit. And I haven't felt that in a long time. So it was very, very rewarding and encouraging to me that these teachers enjoy being here. So that was exciting. So I wanted to say kudos to that. It was incredible. Of course, now how do we top that? I don't know. Pressure's on. And then thirdly, I wanted to give a shout out to our CTE programs. I know DECA is one of those. We've got computer, we've got automotive. But we do, at Maricopa, in my opinion, a phenomenal job at showcasing and making sure that our students have these facilities available to them. And I know that they are costly, but we are investing in these children's future. And we are investing in the future success of Maricopa as a community. So I think that it is money well spent. It's I had a chance to go tour Gateway Community College, which our auto tech department kind of mirrors their auto tech department. And our facilities are on par with some of the training centers, Honda, Acura, Nissan. So Mr. Fios has done a phenomenal job of building that program in the short time that he's been here. But so have the computer programs and the DECA programs. And so those instructors that participate in that and grow those programs, thank you. Because our students are so valuable, and I think that these programs really are the next step in their life. So, I just wanted to say we've got some great programs, and if you haven't checked them out, you need to go and talk to Bernadette Russinella with the high school. She's the CTE counselor, and just find out what's going on, because your kids as 8th graders really should be thinking about this stuff because they start getting enrolled in it early on. So I encourage everyone to take a tour and check out what we've got because it's amazing. So that's all I got.
Great, thank you for your report. Mr. Jed.
Thank you, President Noor. I also attended the welcome back ceremony, I would call that, not a meeting. That was more of a ceremony. It was just exceptionally well orchestrated. The videos that were done, focusing on some of our most respected teachers in the district that all got cheers from their peers and just showed that appreciation for their roles. As a teacher myself, that means a lot kicking off the new year. When you have your peers cheering for you, for thanking you for your effort, it means a lot to the entire district. So I thought that was great. They all got to share their stories to those in attendance. I also thought it was great that I saw it wasn't just teachers and administrators that were there. The whole community was in attendance. I saw council members. I'm not sure if the mayor was there, but I know I saw council members present, the law enforcement community. That we had the whole city in attendance for that, which I thought was great. I think one of the things that made it so unique also was I felt maybe a little bit of the carryover from the Red for Ed movement, and I think that movement has done quite a lot in terms of bringing our staff together. So that was, I think that was a factor there. There's been a lot of cohesion amongst the staff after spending a year involved in that, which was great to see. I also wanted to just say thank you to the teachers that have really gone above and beyond in terms of reaching out to parents at the beginning of the school year, in terms of getting them to sign up for things like Remind or sending messages out through Parent View. Let me rewind and talk about Remind for a second because I have a quick story that I have to share. It's week 2, and my son comes in and he's sitting down and he's doing his homework, and I realize that he's quickly finished. And he's done in about 10 minutes and he's on his way upstairs. So I stop him because I had checked my phone on the way into the house, and there was a reminder there from Remind about a spelling test coming up on Friday. And I asked him, Elijah, did you study for your spelling test? And the look of, I guess you could say, horror and shock, the fact that I knew that was coming and told him that he needs to study was priceless in and of itself. If I get nothing out of Remind for the rest of the year, that moment alone was worth it. But if any of the parents have been contacted in that way, they've seen that application to be able to download, please do it. It's different than email. We get so many emails throughout the day, and that sound from our phone kind of becomes a point where it means nothing. The Remind application gives you a unique sound, and it gives you a text message in terms of what's coming up for your child and their education, so I definitely recommend downloading that. It's going to bring you right into the classroom and have a powerful effect in terms of oversee exactly what they're doing in their education. And that's all I have.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Catray.
Thank you. I, too, was able to meet some of the teachers at the new teacher orientation. I bopped in for lunch after Mrs. Anderson and Mr. Abel brought them back from the buses. And it was really nice to see them. They were excited, and they really wanted to be here, and they were invested. So that was really nice, and I do appreciate the invitation. I too also attended the welcome back, and those videos were amazing. Not only did they include teachers, but they included community members, students, and even a bus driver. And Mr. Judd is absolutely right. When the cheers came on, they came on for everybody. And it was great. The morale was lifted, and you could see everybody was excited to start. And even those who were unsure of the early school year start, because I'm a stalker on Facebook, I read everything, I may not reply to it, but even those parents that were hesitant, that said, I don't want to start this early, this summer's, even they were coming around going, this is going to be really nice, because in October, we're going to have 2 weeks, and in the spring, we're going to have 2 weeks, and they're buying into it. And I think, in credit to the board, giving them that year to plan for it, and implementing pieces of it was a really smart thing to do. And I think it really helped prepare the community to be ready for this new year, the new school start. So I do applaud, and I'm so happy to be part of this board. I did attend a coffee with the chief on school safety, which was interesting because he did start the discussions about what they're going to do for the plan of not having the SROs at our middle schools anymore, and their community action team plan, so that they will have officers in the areas of the neighborhoods, including the schools, so that if something does happen, there'll be a fast reaction time. So it was really interesting. He talked about a possible grant that he's going to be talking to us when it's better prepared and more details are available. So I'm sure he'll be bringing that to us. I attended, because some of you may know, I am also on the Maricopa High School Football Boosters, and we did have a youth camp, and Jimmy, you're supposed to be at practice, just saying. So we did have a youth camp, which was really nice because we had about 60 kids come out, and they got to do drills with the older players as mentoring them. They got to play on the football field, which is something really cool. And it's a really good way to foster those relationships for moving up, and so that they can see that they can be future Rams. And that's what our community is about. It's about giving back. The 2 political forums that we've hosted, our JSA students did one with Maricopa Monitor here in the district office. They did an awesome job with the city council. And then the one that just happened last Saturday in Maricopa, our students are amazing. All the different groups that came out, and they really did an awesome job. And I can't wait to see what is in store for this year. The one thing I will say to people, if anybody's watching online, if you got your early ballots, this is your time to start your voice to be heard. Use it. Research and vote for the person that you feel is best going to represent you. And that's all I can say about that one. And, I actually filed my papers, so I am official. I don't believe that there will be an election, because I believe that only 2 people filed, so we won't be wasting the taxpayers' money. And I will be taking the oath of office in January.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's exciting news. Well, you guys gave a lot of wonderful reports, and so I'm not going to echo anything you said. I'm just going to announce that our first football game is next Friday, the 17th, at MHS on the football field. So I encourage everybody to come out and show your support for the football team and the high school and the community, and those are always a really good time. So Friday Night Lights. And that will conclude our governing board member reports. We'll move on to item 5, information items work study. A, the proposed ASBA 2019 political agenda and delegate assembly process. Ms. Anderson, I don't know if you want to start with this. I know that we will need to have an action item
Yeah.
on it at the next meeting.
Correct.
To direct Mr.
Josh.
Judd.
Yeah, how to vote.
Right, but if there's any questions or discussion about the political agenda and how that process is going to work.
Not unless board members or had a question with it. Obviously, this year, I have received several phone calls this week from other districts around the state because our political agenda is down to 4 items, which is the main topics. I laugh because it used to be a book. So after many, many years of Mrs. Coutre and I hammering the pavement, we finally got it down to 4 overarching ideas that interpret the flavor of where we really need public education to go at the state level and how we feel that it could influence at the legislative level. So the 4 items are pretty open-ended, so it gives our representatives a chance to really go with any bill and be able to mold in order to fit our goals. The supplemental sheet is there basically as a definition of what each item encompasses. So my only question I have for you as a board is when we're going to approve this. In my mind, I see us approving the first agenda item and then approving the supplemental section at the same time. So I'm not sure how that's going to work because it's the first time we've done it this way.
Just put both
I think we
on
can,
the
I
next
think we
agenda-
can do it
on
at
the next
both.
meeting.
Do it both, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking too. So, but anyway, if you have questions, email me, we can take care of it, but we do need to put this on our next agenda
an
so that
action
we
item.
can direct Josh how to vote on each one of these. And I will say, let's not get into the wordsmithing thing because
There'll be enough of that.
there'll be enough of that.
And it will
When
be
I have to
done.
corral, 500 people. So,
May instead of shall.
yeah, 2 instead of B or whatever, A instead of the.
It does get that, to that level.
But it's all good. Everybody has a voice, and that's the beauty of it. But take a look at it. If there's a question you have or clarification, let me know, and we can kind of figure it out that when we bring it back on our agenda.
I have a question.
Go for
Quick
it.
question. I'm assuming these are not prioritized?
Correct.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, they're just
Correct.
in there, that these are just the top 4, not listed in priority?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and that question has
That's
come up a
right.
couple different times, and the reason, I mean, I'm good with whatever the delegates want, if they want to prioritize them, but when you're down at the legislature, you really have to be able to, you can't just focus on number 1, or number 2, or number 3, because you don't know what's going to be on the floor. And so, there's only 4. In my mind, they're all 4 equally as important. And they're going to shift in priority depending on what bills are on the floor at the time. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that question has come up. Some people think that we should prioritize, but if you
These 4
prioritize.
are so general that they
Correct.
all pretty much share equal weight. And what Dr. Miller's asking is a question that came up
Yes.
consistently during the delegate assembly in terms of prioritizing these
Yeah.
issues, so.
Really quickly, though, I think just for the public and anybody watching on TV, maybe we should read the 4, because
Oh,
we keep talking
yeah.
about
Sure.
the 4.
Okay.
So they understand what they are.
So the Arizona School Board Association, all the school boards across the state, we have our own political agenda, just as the other educational ABCs out there, the teachers union, the business department, just different sections have political agendas. So we try to correlate. This year, we actually did quite a nice job because we worked with our lobbyist. I asked him to get all the other political agendas so that we could pretty much strike where there's power in numbers, so that if our legislators are seeing the same item come up over and over again, they're really going to see that it's a priority. And I think that the message, strength in numbers, really held true when they did the whole Red for Ed walkout. So we kind of were trying to go with that movement, that we really need to bind together in order to really change public education and get our students what we know they deserve. So the 4 items that we decided on, most importantly, was adequately and equitably fund district schools to at least the national median per pupil funding. So that used to be just equitably fund public schools. Well, that's different. Everybody has a different definition, so we actually defined it. We think our students deserve at least the national median per pupil funding. The next one is preserve and strengthen local control, because we think that decisions should be made locally and not at the state level. Hence, more mandates and more, budgetary issues. So we want to strengthen local control, improve outcomes for all students. And this is a new one. because we want to see that we are able to provide the right resources for our students, but we are also expecting outcomes. And we think that our students deserve to know what those outcome expectations are. So that, we thought that was a very important one. And then require public accountability for taxpayer dollars spent on education. So those 4 items were kind of a takeoff of the last 2 years' political agenda, but we narrowed them down and made them specific but still overarching. And then the next document describes all the ideas that other districts thought that accountability was, and what's, funding, what does it mean? It means all-day kindergarten, or it means preschool, or it means 200 days, and, so there's all different funding sources. So if you'd like a copy of this, if you'd like to see it, you can certainly get it from, our office, from probably Lisa, or you can go to the website, but we will be talking about that more. So if you have other questions, let me know, but hopefully it's simplified.
Well, once we approve this and it goes through the delegate assembly, we'll be able to put this on our website.
Correct.
Yes.
So we'll be able, so it'll be accessible
Yeah.
to everybody.
Even if we put it on now with the stamp of
It's
draft.
yeah.
But
Kudos to your committee.
thank you.
I am, after, 8 years of doing this, it is really nice to see this, and I think it really is a good roadmap for whomever's at the Capitol and whatever is on the agenda. So,
Thank you. I
kudos.
appreciate that. That's
Great.
all I got.
Great, thank you. So we'll move on to 5B, review the monthly financial report for June 2018. Mr. Roush?
Thank you, Ms. Nord, members of the board, Dr. Wolfman. I'd like to review the June financial report, and we always feature part of the district, and we have featured our elementary students for recognized for perfect attendance, and our MHS students earned honors on the national German exam. So, if you had a chance to read my memo and information that follows that, I'm happy to answer any questions about that. This is our June financial report. We're still closing out our books, and we'll do that. We have all the way to almost the middle of October to do that. So a lot of journal entries being done right now, and so we're close to this closing out. This is a kind of a cash report because it's not an accrued report. An accrual report would have a finalization of the year. So this is through part of August expenditures that are in prior year.
I don't have any questions.
Any questions? No? Okay, thank you, Mr. Roush. Move on to item 6, consent agenda, obviously with D&E removed. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda with D&E not on it.
And I'll second that motion.
Lisa, could you please call for the vote? Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. Motion passes. We'll move on to action items. 7A, discussion and possible approval of the personnel schedule. Mr. Beckett.
Thank you, President Ford. Members of the governing board, you have the personnel schedule in front of you tonight. It's a robust list. Obviously, we've had a busy month, lots of things happening, in the school, finalizing our hires for the school year. So I'll take any of your questions at this point in time.
Mr. Beckett, just out of curiosity, because I see all the overload stipends on there, as we have had to do in the past. So are these positions then, teaching positions, still open, and we're still pursuing to hire teachers for the second semester? Or is this going to be the plan for the whole year?
This is a plan for the first semester, Mrs. Cottrell. We're going to be constantly evaluating that list. Anytime that we can consolidate those overloads and hire somebody that meets the needs to eliminate, that is always our preference. But again, I think we've explained kind of this process. Sometimes hopefully the board understands that these are oftentimes singleton courses that we just don't have. There's no justification for us to hire a teacher for 1 or 2 periods. And so at this point in time, yes, we just did first semester.
So how many teachers are we looking at needing to hire?
We have 1 opening, ESS opening at this point in time.
But for all these overloads?
For all those overloads, again, we are not anticipating any new positions as a result of this list.
So then they would be there all year long?
If our numbers hold,
Okay.
and also if we continue to grow in size, there may be justification for us getting new staff members on. Again, we try not to make decisions for the year because of the kind of the dynamic environment we're in right now with the growth. But again, our preference is always, if we can eliminate overloads, we feel like this is not necessarily the greatest thing for a teacher's schedule to have 6 periods in a row.
Yeah.
So we're doing our best. Again, it doesn't seem like this list gets shorter every year.
No.
Again, we're trying to do our best to be supportive of the school staffs and provide enough classrooms for reasonable class sizes for our kids as well.
So that's my main concern, is that these teachers, and this list keeps getting longer and longer, that they're going to get burned out because they don't have that prep period. And the last thing that we want to do, because, I mean, if you look at this list, you recognize a lot of these names because they do more than just in the classroom. They're doing other things. They're coaching, they're club sponsors, they're on committees, they're studying to be national board certified. So that's my fear, is that I don't want to burn our teachers out. And so that's kind of my concern right now with this. I mean, I understand the reasoning behind it, but I just would like us to see if we could find a different way to handle it.
And actually, I think Dr. Logan's got a list on her for wall tabs.
I've seen those wall tabs.
They're awesome.
We're wrestling with those issues. So again, this has been something that I think we have valued, the opportunity to give people prep periods. It's important for them to have that time to be able to pull thoughts together and to plan. And it is not a preference, but it is a necessity at this point in time.
And then I just want to make a comment. I'm so happy to see number 17, like you wouldn't believe, but thank you very much.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it immediately came to my mind. Nice position.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Beckett?
I have a couple. Go ahead, Mr. Miller. Go ahead. No, you go.
Ladies first.
It's your birthday.
It's your
Okay,
Milk
so this is my birthday.
Milk
Yeah.
your birthday.
I don't
It's your
take a
birthday.
card very often. Take it now, right? It only comes once a year.
Right.
So, Mr. Beckett, the only thing that really stuck out, it appears that like the first part in terms of the resignations, retirements, non-renewals versus new employees for the bus drivers are not are matching up. It seems like that there's more that have left than that we're hiring. Is there a gap there, or can you paint me a picture of what that looks like in terms of the need for bus drivers?
Thank you, Dr. Miller. Actually, we're fully staffed at this point in time.
That's awesome.
We did have some transition. We had some people leave for other districts, and we had some people come to us from other districts. I think our salary increases has certainly helped to make us competitive, and I believe we're fully staffed partially because of that reason. So, but again, yes, it's not atypical for the beginning of the school year to have some transition with classified staff in particular. We sign that contract in May, and 2-3 months later, they come into work and figure out whether we're going to do it or not. Sometimes those decisions are made too late in the game for us. And so, but again, we were able to handle these transportation issues pretty quickly.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question.
So thank you, Dr. Miller. That was one of my questions because I was concerned with that turnover. But I'm sure you're taking care of it. The item number 17, is there a cap? It's an hourly position. Is there a cap on the number of hours that person is going to be working?
It is a classified position, and it is a 40-hour position.
Okay. All right, because I just want, it doesn't say that on the description, so I just want to make sure that was clarified. And then on the minimum qualifications, and you can just tell me later, because you probably don't have it pulled up, but I'm reading over it, and I'm wondering why that last line has to be there. Preference will be given to applicants with experience working with volunteers.
I can certainly speculate on that, but let me talk to Dr. a little bit and
Okay.
make sure we have a unified answer on that.
Yeah, why? I guess, why would we need that on there? Why would we preference, give somebody preference over all the other qualifications?
Because it's a big part of what they're going to be doing. We're going to want to hire someone that has that background. If it's there.
Just later, it's not going to make or break the position, I'm just curious. So if you can just email me later, I would appreciate it. Just curious.
Great. Any other questions for Mr. Beckett?
Nope.
I had
Sure.
one. For the full-time subs, Mr. Beckett, that gets us now to a full-time sub for every site?
Correct, and 2 is
Okay.
principal. That is
Very
correct.
good. Thank you.
Very happy principals because of that.
I bet,
And teachers.
That's true. Makes a difference.
And
I
teachers.
bet.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the HR schedule.
I'll second.
After you, Mr.
I have a motion by Ms. Cotrea, second by Mrs. Anderson. Lisa, will you please call the vote? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
By your vote of 5-0, we have passed 7A, the personnel schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you. This roll call vote makes it so much more formal seeming. We're now on to 7B, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy GBEAA, staff conflict of interest. I'm sure all of you have read through that and are aware that these policies are based on new laws that have been.
Yes. A minor inquiry on this. There is a removal of a section that could make things problematic, but I don't know if, when it's referring to the other policy, DJ, if it's covered in that policy, and that was the reason for the removal. It's basically saying that you can't accept things such as novelty pencils or erasers, or if you go to a PD and you take that stuff, it's almost like you're in violation. That's the removal of that comment almost makes it that way, which I would hate for that to be the case. That would be ridiculous. But it's not a necessary question if that same thing is covered in DJ, in that policy.
I don't know the answer to that. I know there's some other questions on this policy. Do we have time to just?
Yeah,
I'm pulling it up.
This is just the first reading.
Yeah.
yeah,
So can we table it and then
yeah.
bring it back at a different meeting?
I would be
Yeah.
comfortable with that.
Okay, because then we can
there's-
look into Josh's. I know
There's
Sanderson
nothing,
has
there's
some
nothing
questions.
in DJ.
There's
That
nothing.
states
No.
it, so that that's,
Yeah.
it sounds silly and like nitpicky, but it's kind of a thing. I mean, if you're accepting that
Right.
stuff, you stand in violation of that.
Right,
policy.
and I
Well,
think-
yeah, and, my concern is, and I know that these policies came down because of situations that happened with some larger school districts north of here. And so therefore, it's dictated what we can now do. And my concern is I feel it's taken away our local control.
Correct.
Because it specifically says in there, talks about hiring, and so I would just like to maybe talk to our attorneys and see what's the time frame, because this is going to affect some of our employees. What's the time frame that we have to be in compliance with this?
Right. I agree.
I'm just, for me, it's a local control thing.
Right.
And that really bothers me.
Right.
So I would just like to know if,
What's the statute that came about that required this?
So actually,
There's no statute.
no, this was in the budget.
That's something I was going to raise because that came up
Yeah.
at the leadership conference.
They adopted these, because I was there and I remember, they adopted these new rules within the budget, when they adopted the budget.
basically mandates.
So it's,
But not statutes.
but it's still, the budget is
a statute.
It's a legal
Yeah.
binding document, and they can put policy and budget, and they always say they don't, but then they always do. And so that's where they put it in there. And it was all reflective of what happened up north.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should, yeah, I agree. We need to table this.
Yeah. I think there's no problem tabling it, and we can talk to our attorneys and
Thank you, I
figure out
appreciate
what
that.
room we have, so, okay.
Does that require a motion to table it?
If we don't do anything,
We
it
don't-
just
It just
Right.
dies.
stays.
Just days. Okay. 7C, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy JFABB, admission of exchange and foreign students. Are there any questions?
Didn't we have this once before, or something similar to this?
There was a mention in a previous policy
Tell us
about
about this.
a number of
Yeah.
students that we could
There was
have.
like
Correct.
a
But it's,
ratio.
right. It's included in the policy, but it's not directly the same.
Okay.
This is talking about tuition and
Right.
payment.
Oh, okay.
and-
Slightly different. But unless there's further discussion, motion to approve?
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Lisa, will you please call for the vote? Yes.
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 Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. By your vote of 5-0, we have passed the first reading of policy JFABB. Item 7D, discussion and possible approval of the first reading of updated policy JL, student wellness.
Oh, this has to do with that recess bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember asking Mr. Cotterman about this, and do we need to have this
Mandated.
all set and ready to go? And he said no. He said that there's no stipulation, there's no penalty, there's no teeth to it. So if it's not something that's done within the span of the beginning of the school year, then it's not biting. Now, I would assume that Mr. Cotterman knows what he's talking about. and,
Well, it even says in there from August 1st, 2019, so.
Right.
Right.
It's right.
But the one thing I want to remind everybody is, although recess is important, and our schools are already in compliance with this, believe it or not, there are some schools that took out, they only allowed their kids to be in class. There was no recess, no PE, no physical activity. And so it came about because districts were complaining, parents were complaining because their kids were not getting the physical activity to nurture their bodies, therefore nurturing their brains. But I just want to point out that while it states that physical education can count as a PE, as a recess, recess does not count as physical education. They are two separate things, and I want to make sure that we, as a district, continue to teach physical education versus recess. They're both important, but recess is very different from a structured physical education class that reinforces the teacher's classes. So I
Do you
just
want
wanted
to
to
put
clarify
something
that.
in there like that?
Well, it's in there. It says that.
Number 3.
Yeah, it's number
It
3.
does delineate.
It says the district,
Okay.
the school district may count a pupil's participation in a physical education course during a school day as one of the day's recess periods.
But it doesn't state in your other half of your statement that said that a recess can't be considered PE.
Correct.
So that's why I'm
Could add that
asking,
in.
did you want to put that in there so that, I would love,
As our
you-
district, for us as a district, I just want to make sure that we don't ever fall into that recess counts as physical education.
This is how you do that.
So I would like to see on item 3 that it also then says recess does not qualify as a physical education class. So that would be my motion to add that to number 3.
So would you want to revamp number 1 as well to, because if there's,
They're addressed the same
if
issue.
it's, yeah, if it's addressed as 2 recesses for kinder and then, kind of they have different levels.
No,
then-
because they only have to take one, she's just saying that their PE class can't be considered recess.
Recess, right.
No, recess
No,
can't.
recess.
Recess can't be
Recess.
considered
Yeah,
as PE.
PE,
Yeah.
correct.
So,
Yeah.
but as number 1, it says that, both are, they have to have 2 recesses.
2 recesses per day.
Which is not PE.
Right,
they-
what Dr.
if they
Bill was
have-
saying is if you're going to reclassify or determine what is credit for what, it's going to affect the way you have to schedule both of those
Right.
things. So it's
Well,
going to need to
has
be
a large
addressed in
effect on
one
it.
as well, exactly.
I don't think it will, because on the kids have PE either once or twice a week.
I think it would.
So on those days, that class, I don't see that they would schedule it because it would be a nightmare. I think they would go, I mean, as a principal, you'd still have your 2 recesses, because why would you change the schedule on certain days?
Right.
So it's scheduling to do with the principal. I just want to make sure that recess is never counted as physical education class.
Right.
That's all I want to put in
We
there.
could just throw it out there to the lawyers with that request and reword it and bring it back,
That makes sense.
revisit it.
You want to do that? We have till 2019.
Correct. Correct. It's just like math class is math class. It's
We
not.
have till August
you know.
1st of 2019. Okay, why don't we take that one back to the lawyers too, to make sure that, that we add that properly, so that it's,
Okay.
Okay, but she's got a motion on the table.
oh, okay.
I have a motion to approve with the addition to number 3, clarifying that physical education, recess does not count as physical education class.
I don't think we can
Tori,
do
you
that.
can rescind your motion, because nobody seconded it.
Oh.
You can rescind it, and then we can just leave it, and nothing gets done, and then we can bring it back at
So I
another
take my
day.
motion back, and let's take it to the attorneys.
Great, thank you, and I think that's a great suggestion.
Now that everyone's thoroughly confused,
Did you follow that?
as long as you know
Sound about to fall.
that recess does not count as PE.
All right, well, that moves us on to item 8, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, Lisa? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, it is 7:40 PM, and we are adjourned.
All right.
Nice.
And there's a dust storm alert, so
Yeah, I
people
just
drive
heard that.
careful.
There is?
It just came out just right now.
Thunderstorm or dust?
Wanna go get some
Dust storm
food?
warning.
You better go.
I'm going over.
Dr. Loman.
I'm going.
Or you better stay, one or the other.
Dr. Loman.
And then I got the giggles, like I